spelt that?
Yeah, my bad.
10 years, I'm still getting it.
This?
Like looking after Ali, like drinking fake coffee out of a little cup.
Did you do your hair?
No. Work up like this.
I always want to do this.
Oh, here we go.
And then you'll be good. How's that? All good?
Okay.
If Xavier's had a bad day, I might just drop the teeth in, you know.
We saw declining crowd numbers, declining participation, declining interest in cricket. There was an ageing demographic. We wanted to find a way to get more entertainment into the game, shorter formats, more colourful, more spectacle.
The Big Bash is the rock and roll version of cricket. We had no idea how big it was going to be.
Massive victory for the Brisbane Heat. A little wing. What about that? Unbelievable.
It was colourful, it was fireworks, it was exciting, it was cricket in a way that we hadn't seen it before.
This is extraordinary. Superstar from Brisbane. That's monstrous.
The Heat were the perennial entertainers, especially at the Gabba. Howling off massive sixes.
Possibly onto the roof. It's on the roof.
The whole family got to enjoy it.
Every crowd was like 30,000 plus, so it was packed, it was loud.
I think the Heat had such a great persona in the competition, and worldwide people knew how the Heat were going to play.
6.
They just changed the landscape.
Andrew Flintoff, Chris Lynn, A.B. de Villiers, Dan Vittori, Brendan McCullum.
Ben Cutting was there, Morné Morkel, these names are legends of the game.
These guys are box office, they're headliners. It was an institution around Brisbane and within the team too.
We were stacked, our team was incredible on paper. I was just starstruck, to be honest.
Like a kid in a candy shop, reliving some stuff I used to see as a kid when growing up.
The Brisbane Heat was everywhere and they were such a strong side. They were everywhere in the media as well in Queensland.
There's a reason why we're the most followed sporting team in Australia, and I think that was because of Lenny, Baz, the Bash brothers.
Two together need no introduction. We know what they can do.
They sort of paved the way for the Brisbane Heat to be what it is now, one of the biggest clubs in Australia.
Ball back, please.
I remember running with drinks, going out there as an 18-year-old, just thinking like this is the most wild thing ever. I'm carrying off Brendan McCullum's broken bat, and Lenny's at the other end asking for a drink. Like it was just the most surreal experience ever.
You don't want to look away now. McCullum and Lynn together.
Good strike, it's a long boundary, it's not going to get there. And gone! Big wicket!
The thunder, the lightning, the explosiveness brought the crowds in, but all of a sudden it was like, they're not winning. Why?
We were entertaining. We had the great hitters of world cricket. They became the entertainers, the great teasers, really.
The win was like a secondary. If we entertain well, we'll probably win games.
And that was fine because I think the public enjoyed that for a bit, but then it was it got to the point where it's like we suck.
They'll never err on the side of being safe.
This franchise has been largely disappointing.
The Heat will still be shaking their heads saying, how did that happen?
I'm going to keep harping on about it, but we've seen this from Brisbane for the last 5 or 6 seasons.
They didn't sacrifice winning for that entertainment. It just happened.
In some instances, cricket's been described as a bit reckless, a little bit selfish.
Some shocking cricket from Brisbane.
Can you just continue to play that way game after game after game?
Pretty furious, the Heat fans at the moment.
I think it's, cricket's just so cutthroat, isn't it?
You do hide behind their shadows, and I did that for a long time. Yeah, it's pretty hard to say that, but I did, and I think some performances probably showed that.
Well, that is atrocious batting.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there, Vaughan. 3 wickets in 5 balls. Oh, gone!
There it is, gone.
At the end of the game, usually people, when you start to lose, they leave the ground. But I remember just this one game, the crowd pretty much stayed and just booed us off the ground. It was brutal. I've never seen anything like it before.
If you look around, blokes are sitting there with their pads on still, head in hands. They just don't want to be in that environment anymore because it feels shit.
We've seen this from Brisbane for the last...
The brutal nature of the fans definitely sort of came out, and it was too hard not to notice.
That was probably like the lowest point.
It was a tough time for us as a group.
But we had a losing culture.
That really, for us, was rock bottom. There was an intervention that we needed to take. Everyone was putting in work. We had a winning attitude, but something just wasn't right.
Do you think it'll hit your fan base?
I think our fan base will be looking eagerly at what's up our sleeve.
If we can produce a really high-quality team of homegrown players, it's sending a wonderful message throughout the whole supply chain that we're doing some pretty good things.
It's to help drive the culture that everyone keeps saying is so important to our teams, right? So people keep saying that the culture of the Heat, 4 or 5 years ago was really poor. We should be in a situation where that never happens again if we do our recruitment and retention right, I would think.
Brisbane had a perception about them. We're a bit of a fun team. We drunk piss and we carried on. That didn't sit well with me, as much as I love having a beer, as much as the next bloke, but that's not what a sporting team's all about. But a professional sporting team, when we're trying to get outcomes in a condensed season, it's very hard to get success when you're not all pulling in the same alignment. So we actually had to make a really big shift in that space. And there were a couple of elements to that, and one notably was get Usman Khawaja from Sydney Thunder.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I wanted to move to the Brisbane Heat when I first moved up to Queensland in 2012. And the reason was purely because, number one, my family's here. My teammates at Queensland who I love are here. My heart is literally in Brisbane. I talked to Terry Svensson, the CEO at the time. We had a big conversation, had a coffee.
We had a wonderful conversation, and there was aligned values and views in terms of what we needed to do.
I said, look, the most important thing for me is I want to have, a say. I want to be involved in the process and decision makings of where this team goes. It's like 100%. We want to come here. We want you to help us rebrand the Brisbane Heat, change the way we play, and help us turn us into a winning side.
We were eventually able to do a deal and announce Usman Khawaja would be the captain of the Brisbane Heat.
Uzi's a wonderful leader and just a very different kind of leader, and sometimes different people can get different things out of the same group of people, I suppose.
Someone I've always looked up to, both on and off the field as a leader. You're a great bloke, you're a champion cricketer, and we're so proud to call you a Brisbane Heat member. So cheers, mate.
Yeah, I think Uzi's signing was great for the Heat. We knew his leadership style would be really helpful for the Heat.
Bringing in Uzi was like a line in the sand going, right, the Brisbane Heat's moving in this direction now. We're going to go with how Uzi plays the game, how he thinks this team should do things.
First and foremost, I straight away, as soon as I came to the Heat, I said we need to build a team around locals and then find the gaps to put the overseas players in. So I think one of the first movements was one of my good mates, Matthew Renshaw.
I knew Uzi was coming to the Heat, so I was pretty excited to see where we were heading.
Is this even working? Is this even on? We're about to head off to the draft. The first time, it's new to everyone, not sure what's going on.
Hopefully we get some good picks, and tonight we'll see how all the teams stack up.
It is a brand new concept for the Big Bash.
All 8 BBL clubs will take turns to pick from a pool of available international players to play for their club this season.
Who are you going for at the Brisbane Heat?
Brisbane Heat are going for Sam Billings.
Great signing for the Brisbane Heat.
And I think Colin Munro.
Colin Munro, gun.
I think the Heat will be absolutely delighted with how it finished up.
But suddenly, we finished the draft, and I'm looking at our team. We got Renshaw back, we got Billings, we got Munro, we got Marnus and myself when we come back from the test. Matthew Kuhneman, Michael Neeser, Mitchell Swepson, Xavier Bartlett. And I'm looking at our team like, this is a good team.
All these people that we grew up, we were playing together as 12-year-olds and 15-year-olds, and they're all people that I love playing with, and now we can get to do it as a job together as a unit.
You bring them into your group because not only are they good cricketers, but they're the characters that you want in a cricket team.
That was the biggest thing for the Heat, was just trying to create a culture within the group that, everyone felt a sense of belonging and then, can be themselves.
It wasn't just the player we were inviting into the Brisbane Heat, it was his wife, it was his kids. And that comes back to, I think, the open arms policy towards friends and family. Everyone belongs. You've got to feel welcoming, and if you feel welcomed, if you feel a part of something, you feel like you belong in something, you've got a chance to perform.
Welcome to a huge clash. We are in far north Queensland, the tropical city of Cairns, for the Brisbane Heat, playing host to the Melbourne Renegades, both with brand new lineups. The sun is shining, it's 30 degrees.
It is always exciting. The first game in the Big Bash, everyone's excited.
Because I was so full of hopes that first game, thinking, okay, new season, new team, hit the ground running here, we'll beat these guys up in North Queensland, what a place to do it.
I saw them practice the day before Cairns, the first game against the Renegades, and my goodness, how well were they hitting the ball. It's a great thrill to have our internationals with us, so Sam and Colin.
I feel like this is the start of us coming into a season. It's not going to be the same old Heat.
Both these teams have made some changes, and they get going tonight.
We're going to go bang in Cairns, get a roll on, and it's going to be a nice, solid, consistent year.
Gets the third wicket and knocks over the captain.
And then it just didn't happen.
Big single, can he hit? Oh, he hits the left hand away. And maybe they will finish in style with a catch. Shot. Look at that. One bounce over the road, 3 fours in a row.
It was kind of normal that we sort of lost, but we kind of wanted to change that tide. I felt like I let the team down because it was a close game in the end.
It was really hard to walk into the side and address them as skipper when I was feeling so deflated myself. And I didn't want it to be a here we go again moment.
No, it's not going to happen again. Yes, we lost, sure. Don't panic. It's a long season and we lost a close one again.
Nightmare's just getting worse and worse now for the Brisbane Heat.
They were too hot to handle for the Heat.
Be some soul searching amongst the Brisbane Heat group.
Big Bash is one of those competitions where you never want to start poorly.
There's a catch, there's a wicket.
So back to the drawing board there for the Brisbane Heat. They're still in search of back-to-back wins. It's been over a season now.
I remember starting with a loss.
And before you know it, 5 games go past and you're going, okay, I think it is happening again.
Oh, there's a big one. And it's Jimmy Pearce.
We've made so many changes, we've put so many people in the right places. How is this still happening? What's going on?
How are we getting out of this hole? Like, it's just, here we go again.
BBL is a pressure cooker. It can be like people on top of you. It seems like there's cameras everywhere. There's a PTSD, I reckon. It's just like they'd experienced it before. Like, this is happening this year, then we lost. I'm like, just chill.
Everyone's putting their best foot forward. It just sometimes in sport, it doesn't go your way.
It wasn't ideal. There's no doubt about that. Even people here in the building are trying to check in on me and trying off their words of wisdom and that sort of shit.
So yeah, it was one of those seasons where you feel like how are we getting out of this hole? Like, it's just, here we go again.
New Year's Day cricket coming up live from the Gabba. It is the Brisbane Heat, desperate for their second win of the season.
Yeah, let's be honest, they've been ordinary again so far.
Unfortunately for the Heat, they got rid of Chris Lynn, who they relied so heavily on
but they haven't quite found a local that they've been able to replace him with to get that value from and that return.
The New Year's Bash game I definitely remember pretty well.
New Year's Day is always a good game. Everyone enjoys that game against the Sixers, the old foe, the New South Wales team.
And I remember we were warming up next to the stage and ballpark music was playing. And Andy Bickle, our bowling coach, was carrying on a little bit, just screaming the lyrics because he loves them. So the boys came out just standing on fire and just so pumped up.
A happy new year to you. It's the Brisbane Heat getting ready to send it.
Big Josh Brown, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do tonight.
They say he's got some serious talent, this kid, so let's see how he goes tonight.
A few chuckles went around a boardroom when they were told that we possibly had the best hitter in Australia in our ranks.
Brownie, when he started coming through the system, you're sceptical. Can he do it at the next level?
The expectation of him playing was so low that even the team didn't print his name on his shirt because they didn't expect him to play.
I am a cricket bat maker who sometimes plays cricket. I got picked on a lot in school just for being different for what the rest of the crowd wants. Wasn't playing any serious cricket even until my late 20s. I'd go there to meet new people because I was a very big introvert.
Josh Brown wasn't playing reserve grade. He wasn't even playing second grade or third grade. He was playing for fun. 2 years later, he's playing in front of 20,000+ in a stadium.
And Josh Brown, he'll face his first ball.
I was so nervous because, you know, you've been waiting your whole life to play in front of people and show these people what you've got.
Here we go. There's a little look at what Brown's capable of.
Brownie was incredible, just hitting some of the best bowlers in Australia around the parks.
Flashed that over extra cover.
He came on the scene and absolutely teed off. It was so cool to see.
He could soon be the biggest name in the whole competition.
Just found my new favourite player, Howie. I love him.
And he teamed up with Nathan McSweeney as well, who was masterful in the way he batted.
Nathan McSweeney didn't have his name on his shirt. Josh Brown didn't have his name on his shirt. They weren't expected to play. They weren't supposed to play.
Nathan McSweeney hasn't had too many opportunities. Doesn't matter. McSweeney.
Once I got into it, it was like we were just playing back here at Norths, and yeah, it was a fantastic feeling.
In the air, over the top. McSweeney, another boundary.
I think that really helped having him there because just looking down and seeing him at the other end, I was just like, oh, it's just a game of club cricket. It feels so natural.
Their partnership absolutely rocked the joint because it was the highest score in the Heat's history. And all of a sudden you've got these two who are making names for themselves without names on the back of their shirts. Brilliant stuff.
Now, if you put that in perspective, think about guys like Chris Lynn, Brendan McCullum, the Bash brothers. For two rookies to come out, Josh Brown, Nathan McSweeney to come out and play the way they did, this is a team that too often have under-delivered. Well, they've delivered in spades tonight.
I remember Ian Healy messaged me. He just said, congrats, mate. About time you showed him what you can do.
We're at the bottom here. If we make finals, could you imagine what they'd say about it? The power of not expecting to win and not expecting to make finals is actually a great thing. It's sort of a weight off your shoulders to be like, well, let's just throw caution to the wind and see what comes.
There's talk of a real fast bowler from South Australia who's been injured. And just in the background there, didn't have a contract.
I first met Spencer when I first went down to Adelaide. He was injured at the time. I was playing a lot of PlayStation with him and it sort of felt like we were getting to know each other a lot better.
Then he came and played the T20 Max, which is a tournament in Brisbane for players to try and showcase their talent, try and get a contract.
Obviously played with him in the Max and he was gun. He was great. And, you know, I sort of said, like, we've got to sign him.
I was watching Spencer Johnson at T20 Max on TV. He was playing, obviously, the club game. And I was watching him bowl and thinking, this guy's good.
I probably had 3 or 4 people contacting me going, hang on a minute, have you seen Spencer Johnson bowl? He jumped out of the box loudly. It was almost a no-brainer. Big, tall left arm at the Bolts Rockets. Yes, please.
Just like I feel like we need to shake something up. I feel like we need to have a crack. I was like, all right, Chuck, let's have this crack.
Surely I'm going to get an opportunity here. The season was pretty much done. Now's my time. For me, it was a win-win.
We had nothing to lose. We're 2 from 9, and we have this big, beautiful man who bowls 150 kilometres bowling well in the net. So
That's where Spawn got his chance, his debut, and never looked back ever since.
I just wanted to get out there and experience a Big Bash game. I'd watched it for so long.
Big crowds arriving, and we are set for a beauty. The Brisbane Heat, they're sitting on 7th at the moment, desperately need a win against the defending champs.
I think we all are excited for you. Obviously, I'm personally more chuffed than everyone else, and I'm so excited to see you display them out tonight. Every bit of success that comes your way, you totally deserve.
I had no idea what was about to happen. Going out there and you're looking at the crowd and you're just smiling and just embracing it.
Spencer Johnson on debut.
That's a very good action. I like this. I'm super impressed with the first deliveries.
Where do you keep unearthing these bowlers?
Where's he been?
And it's been an excellent start. Take a bow, Spencer Johnson.
We all knew he was a gun, but I don't think we knew how good he actually was.
Straight up. Should be out. Is out.
Johnson breaks through. His pace and bounce and the left-handed angle, too much for Cartwright.
Perfect, yeah. Oh. Spencer Johnson smiles all round, and rightly so.
I think when you see people come out and debut and do well, and you see the reaction of their teammates, it's a good indicator of the character of that person, because you want to see that person do well when they're such a good bloke. You want to see them have success, and he's that guy.
Going from being a greenkeeper to a superstar. I think he always had it, to be fair.
Let's be honest, he's a good-looking bloke.
We've fallen in love with him, the Italian stallion. The girls love him almost as much as he loves himself.
One of the guys that are high up at Channel 7 pointed to Spencer and said, mate, you're attractive and you could bring in a lot of mums. So he never lived that one down.
He's just hilarious. Like, he sit there and just laugh. He makes you laugh so much.
I absolutely loved it in Queensland. They just embraced me.
His laid-back nature is something that we've really embraced.
And we do have very chilled-out attitude in Queensland, but we also care about, playing the game right and winning the game.
I know a lot of the commentators say he looks relaxed, he looks calm, and I think that's the same in the change rooms. I'm always trying to smile and not take things too seriously.
People say when people are on the field, they're emotional and they're going at it. Oh, look how competitive he is. That's got nothing to do with competitiveness. Everyone on the field is competitive. We weren't telling him to be anything that he wasn't supposed to be or wasn't going to be. We were just being Spence, be yourself, bowl fast, we'll back you.
He's one of those guys that was a big part of why we could build out of this hole that we were in, because we sort of had a little diamond in the rough there with him sitting waiting in the wings to play for us.
Changed our trajectory for the rest of that season.
We unearthed Spencer, so we knew we weren't far off, and once Uzi came in and put his mould on things and was skipper, the whole thing sort of changed.
I think having guys like Uzi and Marnus come back into the squad is pretty uplifting for the group.
Their commitment to the Heat was excellent.
They brought energy, and that's what it was. And you know what Marnus is like, he bounces off walls. Uzi came back in and had a nice calmness about him as well.
And then my role was just to calm the players down as much as possible when they were playing. Just chill, chill, chill. I think a lot of times in the past it was very frantic. This happening, that happening, there was a lot of pressure on. I was just trying to alleviate that as much as possible.
Didn't raise his voice, didn't put any stress on anyone. He said, let's just be calm, let's just get the job done, know what you're doing. This game's going down to the wire. And we started getting on a roll.
Decides to go big, does Matt Renshaw. Catch it, scroll and taken. There's instant success. Really nice.
It was pretty much like every game was a final for us.
When you're in it, you don't realise it's happening.
Like, it felt like we're a steam train.
Huge moments here. Great battle on our hands here. I think it's very evenly poised at the moment.
The most memorable moment for me during that season was the Renshaw ramp. That game was stressful.
We knew we sort of needed to win every game at that point to sort of make the final. We felt like we had a chance to chase it down. The story of the innings is we kept just losing wickets every time we felt like we were getting close.
Big wicket there. Trouble.
Direct hit. This is pretty much a whole 20 overs to get us in a winning position. He was doing such a great job.
Going into the last over, I was pretty cooked. I was swinging as hard as I could.
A little bit of momentum from Renshaw.
I was that cooked, I kept missing the ball.
Swing and a miss.
It got to that last over and Renners was like swung off his feet.
Renshaw makes it.
He's run hard between the wickets as well.
I mean, he was cooked. He was so tired.
I was the last batter. I knew the responsibility was on me. And he came down to me, we needed 4 off the last ball. And he said, "What are you thinking?" And I was like, I got no idea.
What I wanted to say was like, just be calm and be good. But I accidentally said, "Why don't you try and ramp?" And he goes, "Yeah, great idea." And I'm going, "Oh shit."
You know what? You're right. If I can get something on it, hopefully it goes for 4. If not, we can hopefully try and run 3.
What a finish. This ball's got to go for 4 or better. Final ball.
I remember just screaming at it, "Go, go, go."
That's exactly what he does.
I could just see it trickling over. I was like, it's happening.
It's not going to get there, is it? Oh! What a finish! Matt Renshaw, you star!
Big hug. The boys are pumped.
One of my favourite wins, yeah.
It was a pretty special moment. I love watching the replay of that game.
Seeing that footage and the emotion from the players and the coaches, that's proper emotion there. That's what it means to play for the Heat.
And that was sort of the story of then. We just kept finding ways to win.
Deep down, I think everyone knew this. Not get too carried away with ourselves because we've got a big couple of games to come.
First ball not far away. It's coming up next year at the Gabba.
Takes it on. 2 fielders are close. He is taking the catch. Been an if-only season for the Melbourne Stars. So close, so many times. They take on the Brisbane Heat, who need to keep winning if they want to play finals in the BBL. One of the best in white ball cricket, Marcus Stoinis.
Been an excellent run chase.
Such a dangerous hitter.
Is Marcus Stoinis about to break the hearts of the Heat?
He was incredible. 2 powerhouses going at it, Spencer versus Stoinis.
14 needed from the last over.
Stars maybe just in front. What do you think?
Right, Stars for me.
Our whole season came down to Big Sponny.
I think Stoin gave him a little bit of mouth to, just telling him that he wasn't up to it.
There was an exchange there too between Marcus Stoinis and Spencer Johnson.
I think he said something like, "You're not made for this." At the time, I was probably thinking, you're probably right. Big Stoin.
It was like, Spence, honestly, just relax, bowl it. What is meant to be will be. Just execute.
So a 6 needed off the last ball.
We won the game and Spence is up and about and we were just so pumped. And I was with my kids and they came all and I've never seen the Gabba just full of people like that. The first time Brisbane Heat fans kind of felt like, all right, here we go. We're gonna make, we're finally gonna make the finals. We're looking good, team's good. What a win. Yeah, that was pretty special.
We played 18 games, of which 4 were in Brisbane. So you actually just keep flowing along. You win a game of cricket and you go, right, where do we go next? We actually don't know where our next flight is.
So the Brisbane Heat advance to Sunday's final in Melbourne. And for the Thunder, that's season over.
But you had very little time in between games. We're having team meetings in airports and you're waking up wondering which city you were in.
I think that's when it really sunk in that we could actually, we're in the mix now and we're only one win away from the final.
And the Brisbane Heat march their way into the Challenger. Terrific win to the Brisbane Heat. They look terrific when you add in Khawaja, Labuschagne and Renshaw.
There's not too many team sports where your best players are all of a sudden getting picked and plucked out and you won't see them again for the rest of the year, either on international duty or perhaps even other international franchises. So imagine trying to succeed when your best players can just be plucked off you at any time.
It was really hard, actually, to be honest, to be a part of the season and then sort of be pulled out right at the end there. Like, it was just an opportunity that I didn't really want to pass up, but you always want to play for your country.
As much as I'm a player, I'm a fan, and I want us to do well and I want us to win.
It was just FOMO, massive FOMO, but I could see us on the trajectory, and even though I had to leave from that game, I was quietly confident. I was like, well, I think we can win this.
Minutes away now, it is the Sixers v Heat for a spot in Saturday's decider. You're watching the Challenger. All right, you've got plenty of winning momentum, but we know there are some big outs. What are the team changes tonight?
Yeah, obviously we lost our big boys in Usman Khawaja, Matt Renshaw and Marnus Labuschagne. They've gone out, and our replacements are Nathan McSweeney's coming up to a great performance last time we played. Maxie Bryant's coming in, and Sammy Haslett as well.
Funny game, isn't it, T20 cricket? In the Brisbane, massive underdogs coming into this game. They haven't won yet, but they're a long way to doing that. This bowling and fielding performance has been outstanding.
But this is every bit what the Heat wanted when they turned up today. Very, very good performance from the Brisbane Heat, restricting the home side to 9 for 116. Now midfield. Oh, gone! Gone!
One. Out. Gone.
The wickets keep falling, and this game gets tighter and tighter. More than game on.
I was in the plane when the game happened, and I landed and I looked at the score, trying to get into there, and I saw the game. I was like, when you're like, your heart's in your mouth.
Michael Nisa.
I do remember the knock. The knock to get us into that grand final.
Pick up a few singles here. The occasional boundary will probably come like that. That's a beautiful shot.
Good start. Nisa's playing a little gem. No way. Shot of the match. 4 fours in a row. Only fitting that Michael Nisa wins this game off his own bat.
Finesse to step up with the bat and ball is probably one of the best performances single-handedly I've seen. I couldn't believe it, and I watched the highlights and I was just so happy, and I'm glad I didn't watch the highlights first, because if I watched the highlights without knowing the results, I think I might have broken my phone at some stage, but we somehow got over the line. Michael needs a classic, as he does. That was awesome. We're BBL finalists. What a special moment.
Yeah, last to the final in 21 days.
Pretty ridiculous. Don't think many sides have done that in any sort of sport.
Fly somewhere new at opposition in their home ground, beat them, go to Sydney, do the same thing to the Sixers, and all of a sudden we're going to Perth the next day and playing in the final. It was just one of those like, oh, who cares? We're doing it, let's just keep doing it. We might as well keep on rolling through. And I remember being cooked by the time I got to Perth, but also just thinking, it's another game of cricket. Like, we've done it 4 times already, let's do it again. And it's set up for a cracking game down there in Perth.
There's something special as well about being able to come into enemy territory and spoil the party, and does that kind of motivate you a little bit as well, just to kind of steal it away from Perth as such, especially when they're favourites as well?
Yeah, I guess so, yes. We've gone through some hurt over the last few years, no doubt about it. People have written us off for a long time, but I think we're building towards something pretty special as a group, both this year making the final and moving forward. And what I'm most pleased about is the consistency we're bringing.
Yeah, I mean, as many people know, it's a fair way to fly from Brisbane to Perth, and there was that heightened level of anticipation. We were in the final. We hadn't been in the final for many years. We didn't have the Australian players. In fact, we didn't even have Munro and Billings, our international players.
Go the Heat! Yeah. Hopefully you guys win the Scorchers. Make sure you beat them so they don't win 2 times in a row.
We got off the plane and there's photographers there, and I remember one of them snapped a photo of me, and then sure enough the next morning it was front page of the paper saying Scorchers versus a bunch of nobodies.
It was pretty brutal.
The coaches didn't really have too much to say, to be honest. They just let the Perth newspapers do the talking.
The only reason we knew about it was because our head coach Chuck Seckham thought it would be motivating to stick it up in the change room.
I think it'll be a nice motivation for us. You know, you never write Queensland teams off. Finals a 2-horse race.
It was probably fair enough, the article, but it definitely drove us to be like, well, geez, it'd be pretty cool if a bunch of nobodies could knock off the best team in the competition.
To get there, I was just like, stuff, and we're winning this.
The Heat, what a performance from them. Had to win 3 finals in a row on the road, giving themselves a look at a title.
We'd done just about everything we could to not make a final, and then literally in the space of 2 weeks just flipped it on its head.
I felt anyway we were underdogs. The Scorchers are so well trained and so well drilled, but I still felt we had a chance.
You've dropped only 3 of 15 games all season. Do you think that consistency has put you in a good place for tonight?
Yeah, no, we feel like we've earned the right to play in another final. We feel like we've earned the right to play in front of our friends and family.
Even like at the cafe and stuff, people coming up to us and just saying, you're no chance tonight, all that type of stuff. And you walk past security guard, they'd have a little comment at you. We knew exactly what we were getting into because we know that's the hardest place to win.
It's an extraordinary sight to look down on this ground. One of the best sporting stadiums in the world, and it's full. Largely of orange, just the little sprinkling of teal around the ground. Here we go, Big Bash 12 final.
The Perth crowd, they're different. They're definitely different. They're vocal, they're not afraid to spray you.
Took it on. I've never seen a crowd just full of oranges. To this day, it's one of the most special games I've been a part of. The whole experience of just 50,000 people just hating you it was pretty cool.
Look at the poor thing standing over there having to wear teal. We went, what? We love it.
How do the Brisbane Heat plan on beating the most successful team in competition history on their home deck?
You're not just doing it for Brisbane, we're doing it for Queensland.
Why not? We're here. 50,000 at the Perth Stadium. Bring it on, let's get this job done.
And Brown, I've got no doubt, will try and clear them early on.
Off the edge and squeezes it through. A hugely anxious moment for Brown, but he's away in the final. 4 more.
Well, that's a little bit of luck that the Brisbane Heat might have needed against this brand new ball.
It was Marnus and I and Sweppo and all the Perth Scorchers boys all in one room.
We all went into, I think it was Marnus's room, and got it up on the TV. And
in a 5 square metre room with 12 blokes.
Yeah, we were invested. We were heavily invested.
I think I grew as a person, as a player. We had our backs against the wall and I was in an effort mode and I was like, stuff this, I don't really care what anyone thinks, I'm just going to do what I do.
Max Bryant, they'll need his power. Bryant goes, and he can go. Goes again, that's big, huge boundary out there. Flat, hard, oh no!
That's just brute power. He can set games up and win games for the Brisbane Heat. And right now he's on the way to doing that.
175, boys. Front of the board, front of the board.
The highest ever chase in a final is 176. Well, guess what? That's exactly what the Scorchers need.
It's also the highest score the Scorchers have chased all season.
You know, without getting ahead of yourself, you think, geez, we've got this game for the taking.
I was thinking, oh my God, we're going to win this.
They'll get through. Oh no! He's going to be out.
Is this going to be a fairy tale?
Big hit down the ground, man coming around. Misa takes the catch. That could be out. Another key man. Oh no!
The worst possible result.
People were starting to send text messages to say that, you know, you've got this.
And if they got a wicket in these next 2 overs, the tail's in, the game is done.
What is this? Cooper Connolly! That's ridiculous.
If I had my time again, I think I would have bowled Spencer earlier and tried to kill the game with 2 overs to go, and then bowl someone that, if it gets to that point, you have to bowl them. That's just the way it is.
When I'm screaming, I'm like, Jimmy. I just knew straight away. I was looking at Marnus. I was like, it was like, I hope this doesn't cost us.
Connolly goes again. 19 years of age. Cooper Connolly.
Look at that crowd. Look at the crowd. They're going berserk.
Oh, that's going to go straight up. Someone's got to get underneath it.
I remember watching the ball go up in the air, running to it, not hearing a single thing.
Catch it! Come on, catch it!
As soon as I dropped the catch and the ball hit the ground, I just remember the roar. The feeling at the time was, can I please just go under the stadium and not come back up?
Well, he got into a horrible position there. Josh Brown, the man at third man. Poor technique.
But I think that one tactical decision I made during that final could have been a very different story.
Jimmy being captain and keeper, a lot of the time it's a split-second moment and it's a really hard job for Jimmy. Being vice-captain and thinking about what you could have done, what you could have said, but it probably got the better of me. Probably deep down, didn't know if I was really good enough and didn't want to say exactly what I wanted to say because it might have been the wrong thing. But when there's 50,000 people there and the game's on the line, it can be quite intimidating.
Can he find it? Yes, he can! That has gone all the way!
I remember trying to scream to just the person next to me, not the fires, 30 metres away from me, trying to scream to him. And you cannot get attention, they can't hear you because the crowd's just going crazy and you go, oh shit, we could be in trouble here. And
Crowd are exploding.
I remember the whole stadium just shaking.
Oh no,
that's it. Game over. The Scorchers are champions again.
And have a look at it go, and rightly so. What an unbelievable win. One of those teams that are never down and never out. They keep finding a way. And look at the captain.
That final was shattering. It made me feel a bit sick. I was like, this is wild.
In all honesty, we probably should have won.
It's still quite tough to think about it.
Well, this is tragic for the Brisbane Heat. Absolutely tragic.
Yeah, we screamed at the TV, just like, couldn't believe it.
Congratulations to the KFC BBL 12 champions.
It's part of sport, winning and losing. Someone's got to lose, and we did.
I think it's hard for the boys because they'd been a part of Brisbane Heat who'd struggled for so long, and then part of them probably maybe felt like, will we get this chance ever again? We literally had our both hands on the trophy and we let it go.
It just hits you, and I remember being really upset because it just hits you how much goes into it, and not just that season, the years before, the hard years, how much of it you give yourself to this game. Flying home from Perth the next day, you just feel empty because it was a really crap time. It just rips your heart out.
From not having a contract the year before to finding myself in a Big Bash final, it was quite surreal. And then I'm just back at home in Adelaide. That was a dark time. I'd never experienced anything like it.
To be so close and to put in so much work and to lose it. Took me a while to get over that loss. Took me a whole season.
I had the orange confetti stuck on the bottom of my spikes until I picked him up next, which is probably 6 months later.
It definitely hurts, but I also think it gives you that bit of momentum, or that motivation rather, that if you get that opportunity again, that you don't want to feel it again.
These are all ducks that we've been given, so I didn't name it, but that one was Emily, and it was wrapped up in a python. So I managed to get the python off, and I thought it was dead, but it was still alive, so she's lucky. It's my favourite duck, that one. Yeah, hold my hand.
A cuddle.
Yeah, you want to cuddle?
I need to cuddle a buttercup.
Okay, we'll cuddle butterscotch. My family, it's growing by the day. The last few years have been chaotic but satisfying at the same time. For once, things aren't about me. I got 3 beautiful kids to look after, and a lot of the decisions I make are made based on their best interests. So it definitely changes you.
Working with kids.
Yeah, and the animals.
Yeah, isn't that the rule? When we're having kids, I thought, how am I going to have time to prepare properly for cricket? And it's so funny, it's just counterintuitive. I actually think I've played my best cricket since having kids. It also helps you deal with the adversity of the game as well. No matter what sort of day you had, good, bad, or otherwise, when you go home, the kids still want dad to be dad. And it's a really good leveller.
I got it.
I got it.
Say that.
It's pre-season for you. Catching chickens. We're gonna have a fire tonight. Here you go. Having family that's so loving and so helpful makes things a lot easier. Oh, it's raining. It's gonna be hard to start this fire. Here you go. Oh, here comes the rain. Sweet.
Let's go to the tree. Proper rain coming.
Let's go. Should we just go to the pub?
After losing the final, you have that time to reflect and you think about going to the next season. You go, okay, I immediately want to make an impact. I want to make sure that we don't make the same mistakes and we perform to the potential that we should be performing at.
I feel like as a team we're pretty honest and we talk about those moments and what we could have done, where we could get better. So there was great discussions early.
That season finished, and the first thing I said to the boys when the season finished, I'm like, boys, it's an awesome season, well done, love your work. But I'm just letting you know, we weren't the second best team in the comp, but we came 5th. Last season was last season. We don't mean crap now. This is a new season.
I remember sending messages to Xavier and Matt Kuhneman just saying how keen I was to get up there and just get back into it.
We had such a great year and we weren't able to finish it off. It's like, okay, well, it's a new season, new week, new everything. Let's do it, let's win.
Bring it on, have to do better than last year.
We were going in pretty confident, not overconfident, but fairly confident.
We've got a squad capable of going all the way.
The language with the group was this is just a continuation from last year. So we wanted to make sure that the learnings from BBL 12 we took into BBL 13.
The guys knew that Marnus and myself weren't going to be around as much this year because of the schedule, because of the World Cup, everything being pushed back. But I thought we needed middle order batting.
Munro and Billings in the stable, beautiful. Wade Seckham says, Paul Walter. I went, who? I hadn't even heard of it.
We had a smoky in our team that no one had really heard of.
I think I just Googled him, ESPN Cricket said, self-proclaimed for the Manchester Originals. So he took it on himself to actually try and get the group together, and I read that and I went, okay, that's not bad.
He improved the environment right from day one. He was so happy. He had a smile on his face. He was massive. Everyone's going, geez, how tall is he? And it was fun right from the word go.
Bowls the first over. Oh, there we go, tall ball. That's the way to do it. Straight on the roof, big man.
That's awesome.
And then all it took for us was to win a couple of games in a row at the start of the season. And there we go. We were off and running again.
Win ever in the competition for the Brisbane Heat.
There's no hotter team in the Big Bash than the Brisbane Heat. They're really working as a team. The team that just keeps winning. Taken a huge amount of confidence from their performances last year. Masterclass in the Brisbane Heat stay undefeated.
It was like win, and so a lot better than the season before, and it was nice to be front runners.
The Heat just keep finding a way to win. Yeah. Brilliant.
Belief is sky high within that group.
To start off the season like that was like, all right, no, actually we are still a very good side.
They're a terrific unit. They seem determined to go deep in this tournament. There's something about them this year.
We had the right players, we had the right staff, just everything about it was perfect.
I can't put it down to a secret source other than the good bloke or a bunch of good blokes coming together. It is that common vision of what we're trying to achieve, and I think everyone had the common vision of where we're trying to get to.
BBL 13, looking back on it now, was so enjoyable.
It was magical because it was a great season.
I think having that top position was something that we were striving for.
Coming from seasons past where after games you're always talking with your teammates about, where are we going wrong, how can we be better? The fact that we could celebrate each other's successes and in just enjoying the moments a bit more, that was my favourite part of the year, and enjoying it with those guys.
Well, we weren't going to be here for the finals, were we? And some of those players, like Jimmy, that's going to come in and play a role for us in the finals, need some opportunities to play.
We'd already qualified for a home final, so we left Colin Munro out and we left Sam Billings out because we wanted Jimmy to play and we wanted Maxi Bryant to play that game that just gives them another game leading into a final.
Obviously in our team, Jimmy Pearson was always the leader, captain when I was in there, but he found it really hard the year before captaining all the way from wicket-keeping. And fair enough.
I may be the right person for the job, but I can't be there and do it because I'm just standing there as a keeper. And I just didn't feel like I could do that role justice or the way I wanted to by where I stood. There was no issue with that whatsoever. It was just a matter of who.
McSweeney was just almost a perfect fit. I mean, he's a natural leader. I think he's one of those personalities that can get along with anyone. I think that's really important when you're captain. You need to be able to get along with all different types of personalities. But he's also got that humbleness and that humility that I think every skipper needs.
Definitely, I definitely agree with it. I think he's the right man for the job.
Initially, I was like, really? And then I was so excited to do it. I was confident from the experience I had last year and where my game was at that I could do a good job, and extremely lucky for the opportunity and super grateful.
To be honest, I didn't even really think of his age. He probably doesn't realise that a lot of the older players actually probably look up to him a little bit.
To have that sort of maturity on your shoulders at that age is, well, yeah, I was just better. It's as simple as that.
He didn't even have a contract with them, 2-3 months ago. He was brought in as a replacement player. Imagine that. It's like turning up as the work experience kid, and within a couple of weeks, you're running the company. It's unheard of.
I was just so keen to get stuck into it.
Welcome along to Optus Stadium for a Fox Cricket exclusive. It is a top four clash between the Perth Scorchers and Brisbane Heat.
In these, warm conditions that greet both teams. All set. Big clash here, BBL 13.
I hope that the rest of the team believes that when myself and Max come in, that we can get this job done still, even though we haven't played all year.
Fancies and gets it over the infield. Gloved over the keeper. I think he's got it. Not got all of it. Fine leg coming up. Oh, goodness me, Ashton Hagar.
Catch that.
It's 4 for 29 off the last 40 deliveries. It's been like an anaconda getting around the neck and slowly constricting. Leeser puts his head down and walks. It's 2-2 for Lance.
They rested the plays and you got me and Jimmy coming back. We lose straight away. I was a bit like, oh, here we go again.
Success for the Perth Scorchers. They win by 35 runs.
To go a whole year undefeated is pretty unheard of. So to drop one, I think just shows that you can't be too complacent and put us back in gear.
It's a sellout on the Gold Coast. The ground's abuzz. Big Bash finals are here. It's the top two teams, the Heat and Sixers, face off for the right to host this year's decider.
I think Chuck, our coach, said we've been way too good this year to end up losing these two games and be gone. We've been very good. We deserve to be in the final.
Yeah, to have a sold-out crowd, pretty much just all teal. There wasn't much pink. Lots of family and friends. I wouldn't say there was any added sort of pressure, but you probably do put it on yourself, not thinking about it.
I certainly remember that pressure of we're the best team, we shouldn't lose this.
Off the edge, chance of a catch, he's out.
I have about 30, 40 mates there all watching us play and expecting us to win. You want to put on a good performance and you don't, you have your worst game.
When it's not your night, it's not your night. Heat in deep, deep trouble.
Didn't start the best, and I felt like, we'd won all year. I captained in the first two games we had lost, and I don't want to be the guy that comes in and we lose 3 and we're out of the competition. You think of every possible scenario in your head. Am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? Am I the right man for the job?
And it's falling apart for the Heat. The Sixers go straight through to host the final of BBL 13.
Please don't let this happen. We need to make this final. We're the best team, we should get there. We can't trip over right at the last hurdle.
Pits the Brisbane Heat against the Adelaide Strikers. Who will emerge from Carrara on the Gold Coast tonight as the challenger? to the Sydney Sixers for this year's BBL title.
It's been a real change in fortunes, hasn't it? Brisbane Heat were the team of the tournament, but they've just trailed off the last couple of games.
Josh Brown this season, we've seen how many starts he's made, but yet to really hit that big score for you up the top.
I fell in love with cricket when I was 13. My sister was playing soccer at the same time, so Mum would be driving either of us to our games all over the weekend. The biggest thing that I admire about my mum is just like her work ethic, because she was working, 2-3 jobs at times just to get us by. She's amazing.
Yeah, so wouldn't miss it for the world, though. Fingers crossed it'll get them into the grand final on Wednesday night. So don't know if I can apply for leave for that night as well, but you get that.
Cricket always takes your mind off things a little bit, because when you're out there, as soon as you cross the field, it's just you and your mates up against everyone else.
Brownie would probably be first to say that he probably didn't have the year that he wanted to have with the bat.
And he struggled a little bit that year. And I kept on him. To be honest, I kept texting him. I'm like, Brownie, as nicely as I could, we don't pay you for dot balls. Play your game. Go out and do your thing.
The funny thing was the game before, so I opened the batting with him, and he batted like a busted ass. He could not hit the thing off the square.
I would have had mental demons going through my head.
I just remember I woke up, I think I went for a walk, went and got a coffee, and then I went back to the hotel and I literally played Xbox all day. I was playing COD Zombies until 10 minutes after I was meant to leave.
Josh doesn't come from a cricket professional background as such, so he didn't come through the pathways like other players did, and he's come sort of from outside the system a little bit, and I think that's what makes Josh Josh. So he plays his way, quite natural, and you don't want to change that. That's just him.
Brown's strike rate's been right down from last season. Last season he struck at 148. This season he's just striking at 117.
If you're not true to yourself, I promise you won't score runs. Like, you just won't. Even came out that first over, he was still a little bit circumspect, and I was a bit like, whoa. I'm not sure if he's actually listened to a word I said.
Josh may have not worked it out. But when he got to the Gold Coast in a knockout semi-final, he worked it out.
That is well struck. No need to run. Oh my gosh. Hoiked around the corner. Looking back. Oh my. Well, everything he touches turns to gold. There it goes again. A monster.
It was unbelievable hitting. Like, he just kept going. He just kept going and going and going. And it was one of the most special innings I've seen in BBL. I was just saying, like, this is ridiculous.
And I'm like, how's he doing that?
A record-breaking performance. Most sixes ever in a BBL innings.
Yeah, well played, young man. Sensational knock.
It is a knock of immense proportions.
Well, he should soak it in as long as he possibly can here.
The innings of a lifetime.
I was like, oh, well, I guess it's my night then.
The reason he was in our team for the whole season was because of that innings, and we knew that he could play that innings. I think everyone knows that he had that in him.
I don't want to sound like a cliche, it was a team game, but you name every player, they pretty much performed. Spencer with the ball, Xavier, unreal. Both our spinners had a huge impact for us. And then you had Brownie, who just hit one of probably the most memorable knocks you'll ever see in BBL history.
So I remember the day before quite well. I had to get on an early flight. It was all media when we first got there, and the boys didn't get there till later. And then, yeah, getting a sense of the occasion with all the cameras there and doing the pre-match, press conference. For the first time, I felt like I was pretty confident and wasn't that intimidated by the whole thing.
We know what it takes to win here. We've done it before, so there's no reason why we can't do it tomorrow night.
As a group, I felt like we just knew that we were ready for it. And all our prep was to try and be in this moment, and this is where we were meant to be.
I said to the boys probably a couple of weeks before the finals, like, if the grand final is not the Gabba, he said I wanted to be at SCG. I think that's our best chance of winning, and it'd be great to beat the Sixers in their own backyard.
I definitely felt like we had the momentum going into that finals.
I sent a text message to the boys the day before, just letting them know. Like, unlike last year, we are the best team in the competition. We've deserved to be here.
When I woke up on that day, never had a bad thought in my mind. I just had this feeling that everything was going to go to plan.
Yeah, I think the environment was relaxed due to the experiences we had the year before, and everyone was better for it. And we just went to the beach. It was all quite relaxed.
went for a swim, coffee, brekkie. We all sort of tried to not speak about it too much and just sort of make it as normal as possible. And then on the car ride home, I think Spence was like, "Oh, boys, we're playing in the final tonight."
No one was too overhyped or going crazy. Everyone was pretty level-headed.
It's really funny, the sentiment going in was, I thought about last year a lot. And then when we came to the morning of the game, I got this dump of nerves.
There's always some level of nervousness. You don't want to be that guy that loses it for your team.
I'll be honest, I was shitting myself a little bit. Yeah, I didn't want to repeat it the year before.
We're driving there on the bus, and it's the bowler's bus, so we'd like to get there early.
And the vibe is, the music's on, we're excited about what's going to happen.
But I remember Bick, he got a phone call from one of his mates and he put it on loudspeaker.
And he was talking about how the Sixers had a measure and he was going to get, this is on speaker, and how Johnson was going to get belted. Johnson was in the car that day.
It was like the most unplanned pump ever.
And then he put the music on, ballpark music.
We might have managed to get a call through to the ballpark boys and try and capture them. They say that we're on our way to the SCG to win the BBL 13 and to let you know that we were listening to your music.
We had to be parked at the top, had to walk like through the crowd sort of thing.
6-7 guys in that Heat gear and just getting absolutely abused. It was pretty cool. It's sort of funny how it all happened.
There was just pink everywhere, and I remember running into a few of our families on the way through, and it was just like to see the support of all of our close loved ones, and then also from the Brisbane Heat people that you see walking in, and just the pump up that you got there was it was a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, come on, pre-game, let's go.
Since last year, all our prep was to try and be in this moment, and this is where we were meant to be.
I'm honest to myself, I couldn't play in that grand final. It was bittersweet because again, I wanted to be a part of it. I so wanted to play in the final. I already had to do it last year. I had to do it again this year, but this year I was way more confident.
Let's enjoy the moment, accept the feelings that we're feeling. It's probably uneasy at some times, but just back all the work we've done, it's nothing different.
Atmosphere is electric at the SCG, an iconic venue, the perfect place for a BBL final. The Sydney Sixers versus the Brisbane Heat.
I couldn't watch us bat, to be honest. I was pacing for the majority of the game. I could hear different cheers at different times.
It's a big breakthrough, first blood to the Sixers. Into the crowd again, back-to-back Sixers. What a way to bring up a half-century.
So when Brownie started to get us going, we're like, this is their premier bowler, and we're getting him for boundaries.
It's why you play the game, to be in moments like that with a full house.
Except for that one. Oh, take it! It just died on its run. And hits it a mile in the end and taken.
I got really nervous, and probably the most nervous I have in my career.
We lost a couple of wickets and I come out with runners and we just said we just need to not do anything stupid, which I'm prone to doing sometimes.
Plenty of batting still to come. When will they accelerate? Just being stalled at the moment. Wonderful swing of the bat, and that's six, and we know that's what Max Bryant can do. Renshaw hits a really high ball. Does he get enough? Yes, he does.
Renners finished the innings with the momentum we needed, which is huge going into our bowling performance.
Beautifully played, the Brisbane Heat. They've got themselves some sort of a total here.
Got each other in the field, everyone counts, okay? Let's help our balls out. Come on, guys, boys. Game
on, Richo, absolutely game on.
Yeah, it's game on here. Michael Nisar's been excellent with the ball.
Take it! Nisa breaks through!
I pride myself on that first over and setting the tone for the team. So to get that first wicket was a huge relief.
He's been to be going here, Spencer Johnson. The adrenaline will be up. He's playing in a final in front of a big crowd.
I remember my first 3 or 4 balls went for 4 and I was thinking, geez, I'm going to lose us the game here.
Yeah, as good as Spencer Johnson is, that's a cracking shot.
Either side of the wicket, there's 4 more.
I hate the Sydney crowd. I hate playing there. They're really loud. They're really boisterous. They don't hold back on the fence.
They can be hostile in your face, but I think we silenced them pretty quick.
What an over for the Sydney Sixers.
All the pressure's back on.
Gone! What a
I must admit I was thinking back to Perth, thinking that, you know, at this point in time, we were going to win, and then suddenly we didn't.
It's a top edge. He might have got another wicket.
I wore the Fox Sports mic when we were fielding, and they kept asking me, "Do you think you've won it yet?" And I said no.
Whoa, hello!
"Do you think you've won it?" I said no.
And taken off! Brilliant!
"Do you think we've won it?" And I said no, I'm not doing that. I didn't want to have that jinx.
The floodgates are opening. Ladies and gentlemen, your champions, the Brisbane Heat.
Talking about hats, Stevie. I think in all my years of cricket, I don't think I've seen anything that special.
Tonight's weapon that looked like that meant the absolute world to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my 9th year at the club. Feels like it's been a long time coming, but I'm just so proud of this group.
It was actually like a pretty emotional moment for me. I'll remember that game and that moment forever.
Come on!
Manu! Where is it? The heat is on.
To win that with my best mates and with such a tight group, with your family in the crowd and in the celebrations, it's so special. I've got goosebumps now even thinking about it.
To be able to share it with, you know, my daughter Anna, who was there, it's pretty good.
I promised I wasn't going to get emotional.
Now it gives me great pleasure to announce the KFC BBL Player of the Final. Ladies and gentlemen, Spencer Johnson.
The Brisbane Heat, I guess you've changed my life. Thank you for everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, Spencer Johnson.
It doesn't make sense to go from where I've come from and to, I guess, be told some pretty hard truths, and now to be here. It's pretty special.
The Brisbane Heat.
I remember being there as a kid and seeing the players and thinking how almost untouchable they are. It doesn't feel real, the fact that I was lucky to play and lucky to captain a Big Bash winning team, and hard to picture anything beating that. Yeah, it's pretty cool to look back on it now, and it doesn't really feel like it's happened, but I'm sure one day I'll be sitting back and reminiscing, and extremely grateful to play with an unbelievable team.
Just felt like, you know, I've grown with all these people, like just not only on the field but off the field. All these new mates that I could just call at any time, which is pretty special to me.
Yeah.
Put it on. That's it. Here we go. It's the wrong end.
I've always lived in Brisbane. I supported the Heat before I played for them. And like for me, I actually have a real big passion for this team and for Brisbane. And another reason as to why I go out and do what I do, to make him proud, to see that his dad's, achieved something. It's great that I can share those moments with him.
Yeah, I think for us, family is always the most important thing. Being able to have Charlotte and Josie out there when we're getting our medals, I think that's something that really speaks to us as a group, where there's a lot of us that are young dads, and we always put family first. You want to sit here? You all right? What's going on? Oh, you want down now? Okay. Go to Mum.
I'm going to try and get one in. Oh, no.
They don't go very straight.
No, they're a bit floppy, aren't they? Oi! I think sport's a good way to give back to not just kids, but people with different disabilities. That's what they watch. They watch sport, and they always look up to sportsmen, and they always have one particular person that they like, and if you're that person that they like, it's pretty cool. So I'm very grateful for what the Brisbane Heat have done for me, not just in that to give me the opportunity to play, but for the last 7 years it's been awesome, and I loved every minute of it.
You losing interest? You lost interest? The Brisbane Heat means so much to me. It's just, I feel like it's a part of my fabric as a person. I've played for the club for so long, and I feel so proud of what we've achieved as a club. I'm looking forward to being an old man, sitting in my armchair and looking back at the team play and think that I was a part of that for a period.
Yeah, just the sort of the culture and the family and the success that we've had now, it's definitely something that drives us, and we've won it once, and we definitely want to try and get back there again and have that feeling again and make many more memories like we did.
You never get too far ahead of yourself in this game. I still look at the Brisbane Heat, and I think we've got an excellent group of boys, but my brain's always tinkering. Yeah, it's about trying to do it again, because once you get that feeling of doing it once, you want to do it again. There's a lot of variables in this game, but I think we can.
Yeah, bunch of nobodies.
'cause you were